It's Charisse Marie live in your feed one more time this week. I'm going live every day this week at different times. Tomorrow I will be live at 3 o'clock Mountain. That is 2 o'clock Pacific and 5 o'clock Eastern. So come catch me then too. And every day this week, I'm going to dive into yet another reason that Pinterest is fantastic and you really need to be using it. So if that sounds interesting, mark your calendar. Friday, I'm going to be live at 1 o'clock Mountain. That is noon Pacific and 3 p.m. Eastern. Got it? Okay. So let's talk today. Oh my gosh, I'm gonna bore you with numbers again because these are so important. Everyone needs to know numbers. We really do. We've got to know what our platforms actually can do for us and if they actually have the right people for us on them. So let's talk numbers. Then we'll talk about if you are at the right place where you need to be thinking of Pinterest. And then we'll talk about some other fun things. Okay, so here we go. We're diving in. I have notes. So just because there's a lot of numbers and my brain is old and it doesn't remember numbers anymore. Okay. And then of course I have to put the page the right place. Oh my God. Is anybody else's eyes at that age where you're like, how far are my arms? How long are my arms today? Okay. So Pinterest, the last stat that we had was that there were 70 million users. But I think that number is actually higher. I was reading this morning, because I do these things, I was reading this morning and it said that Pinterest is now up to 400 million monthly users. So I think that 70 million number is a little low. I think it's probably closer to that 400 million number than 70 million people. That's a lot of people, right? There's only 500,000 claimed business accounts. Now that was probably a couple of months ago. Hello, who's ever there? Say hi. That was probably a couple months ago. So those numbers too might be a little higher. People are starting to realize that Pinterest does have some really good opportunities for almost any business. So they're starting to claim their business accounts. They're taking those, no offense to the people who run them, but those crappy standalone, no hands holding, no training, take my course and don't bother me about any details courses. I don't offer anything like that. Just say it. I might in the future. I don't know though. It doesn't align with who I want to show up as for my ideal audience. My ideal audience, they want to talk to me. They want to have my input because it's my brain that gives them the alchemy, which is my process, that gives them the results that they're looking for. So, we'll see. I'm getting pushed in that direction, but I really don't want to. I want to offer you guys something that is more tailored and personalized and that you actually get the results that you want. Because here's the big secret. Here's the whole reason I'm talking about this. Most of those people who've taken those online courses, they didn't finish it. They got stuck at a certain spot and they gave up on their account. And what happened when they gave up on their account? They gave up on the opportunity to create that as something that they really didn't have to put a lot of effort into every month, where it just handed them traffic without them really thinking about it any more than about an hour, maybe an hour and a half a month, or an hour to an hour and a half per piece of content. You can bang it out faster once you get really good at it. But really, hey, Sylvia, really that first bit, you really need to kind of just work your way through it. And it takes you a couple months to figure it all out. And then once you got to figure it out, then you're banging it out in half an hour. I'm telling you, it's genius. So there's half of those 500,000 accounts. They're just sitting there dormant because they got stuck. Maybe they couldn't actually get their website claimed. Maybe they got stuck on pin creation or on something else. So those accounts are just kind of hanging, flapping in the breeze. They've got maybe 5 or 10 pins, and that's it. Of the remaining 250,000 accounts, probably half of those are not using Pinterest correctly. Now, I had a sales call last night with a wonderful lady. I'm not going to name her name, but she was like, all of the big players that I'm friends with that are on Pinterest, they are all using their accounts, and they've got, one board that is just for their business, and then they've got one that's for clothing that they want for their business, and then one that's about travel, and one that's about, luxury brand names, and one that's about this, and one that's about that. And she's like, I don't quite understand how that jives with your method. And I'm like, it doesn't. There's a reason why they're probably not getting the results that they want from Pinterest, is because they are using it more for brand awareness and to give the impression of a luxury brand where they're consuming those things, or they want to be consuming those things. They're not targeting their Pinterest account specifically to, these are my clients, these are their problems, and these are all of their keywords, that the language that they use to talk about their problems, and all of the hashtags that I want to be targeting. And I'm going to mix and match all of those 20 or 30 keywords and hashtags to create board names and board descriptions, so that all of your content then can be posted on all of those different boards. So then, instead of just one board where you post your pins for your business, you now have 10 opportunities for your audience to see those pins in the feed. Now, you want to mix them up a little bit. That's where Tailwind comes in. Tailwind is the easiest way to schedule things into your onto your different boards, in your feed, in your audience's feed, without making yourself nuts. Because let me be clear here, almost any other schedule, in fact, every other schedule, except maybe the Pinterest native one, which is not my favorite thing. Every other scheduler, you have to then go in and create a separate pin for each of those 10 boards, and then pick, and you have to do all that manually, the scheduling, to make sure that they don't come out right one after the other. That can get to be a lot. Tailwind takes care of that. Their program is set up specifically so that your pins do get randomized. They do get spread out over a period of time. You can control a lot of the different variables, and it really works quite nicely. You create it once, you tell it all the different boards that it wants to go to, you set up your days between the pins, or you just let it be random. Either way, it's going to randomize that and spread it out so that it doesn't feel spammy, and so that it doesn't feel uncomfortable for you or your audience, because they're bored with seeing the same pin over and over and over again. And of course, the way that I teach pin creation, and I think I talked about this a little bit the other day, the way that I teach pin creation is that we have 20 pins templates. You make those as both video pins and standalone graphic pins, just a PNG or a JPEG. And then you've got 40 pins going to 10 boards. Shoot, that's 400 pins. You don't want to be trying to schedule 400 pins in Hootsuite. Trust me on this. You want to use Tailwind. It takes approximately 10 minutes to schedule all 40 of those pins on 10 boards. Boom, Bob's your uncle. It's genius. Why would you do something that made you take so much longer? It can be very, very time and cost effective to send Pinterest traffic to your things. Now, another thing that you really need to have in place if you really want to get anywhere with Pinterest is you have to have places to send your cold traffic, because they're cold traffic at that point. Even if they've followed you on Pinterest, they're still pretty much cold traffic. They don't know a lot about you. They might be curious, but they don't know a lot about you yet. They haven't fallen in love with you yet. Okay? So you send them to a YouTube video or a blog post, or to consume your free thing, or maybe to consume your very inexpensive, under $25 or $30 thing, maybe to your Facebook group to get to know you better. You're not sending them to your $2,000 or $5,000 or $20,000 coaching program. That's a mistake. Okay. You want to send them, and you have to have 3 or 4 different places that you're sending them so that you've got 3 or 4 different sets of pins going. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense for you guys. So then if you've got 4 sets of pins and 400 pins for each piece of content, or you got 4 pieces of content and 400 pins for each piece of content, that is 1,600 pins just in the blink of an eye. Doesn't take very long. Does not take very long. So if you are, even if you create just a little bit of content every month, like maybe you do 1 video on your business page that's really good, or you do 1 YouTube video a month, or you do a blog post once a month, or something where you are able to send more traffic to it. You just spend an extra hour and create those pins, schedule them into Tailwind, mix them all up, and then you got it going on. It's so fast. It's so easy. It's such a no-brainer. The people who are not using Pinterest, who are prolific content creators, who have at least 4 or 5 things that they can send people to, who are not getting the traction that they think they deserve, who are struggling because they are spending a lot of their time on social media like Facebook or Instagram or LinkedIn or Twitter or even YouTube in the comments. If you are spending a lot of time engaging with people in the comments of other Facebook groups, in the comments on Reddit, in the comments on Quora, in comment sections on YouTube, looking for ways to engage people on Instagram, and you're finding that that is sucking up a good chunk of every day, it might be time to go back to basics and just do a little bit of content creation on Pinterest. And then you're going to find that you have to spend a lot less time hustling for your next client on social media. Now, here's the big secret about Pinterest. Everybody lumps Pinterest in with social media. It isn't. Pinterest is actually a search engine. It is the 3rd largest search engine in the world after Google and then YouTube, which are both owned by Alphabet Company, right? So Pinterest is the 2nd largest search engine player in the world. It beats out Bing. It beats out Yahoo. It beats out all of what used to be the big boys in search. Pinterest is number 2. Let that sink in. Number 3, if you count the 2 Alphabet products as separate. Let that sink in for a minute. Now, the reason that people like to consider Pinterest as a social media outlet is because it is visual. And men have a hard time understanding that visual does not equal social media engagement. They think, okay, you have followers and you have visual, it must be more like an Instagram, but it isn't. It's as the way I like to describe it, it's kind of creepy, but the way I like to describe it is if Instagram and YouTube and Amazon had a baby, it would be Pinterest. It's a visual search engine for products and services for people to buy products and services. Now, whether they are buying and paying with their email address or they are going to content where they can sign up for something at the end of it, or if it's a paid product, none of that matters. What matters is it is a place for people to have aspirations, to fulfill their fantasies and their dreams and their wishes and their desires. Now, sometimes those fantasies, wishes, desires, dreams are physical products. Absolutely. Pinterest is fantastic for selling shirts and widgets and gewgaws and whatever. Okay. It actually is probably one of the best places on the planet for that, probably even better than Amazon, I would say, because people use Pinterest. Pinterest users use Pinterest to plan their purchases and then to buy the thing. 83% of Pinterest users have used Pinterest to plan their purchases. Oh, I might have this backward. It might be 97% of Pinterest users use Pinterest to plan their next purchases. 83% actually click and buy right off of Pinterest. 83%. Now, that's not just products, though. Oh, and the cart values generally between $140 and $170 when they're all done. And they're 4 times more likely, or almost 3.8% times more likely, 3.8 times, not percent, more likely to actually finish the checkout. Wow, right? Mind blown. Okay, so, but it's not just products. Yes, it's good for products. It's also good for digital products. It's fantastic for getting traffic to blogs. Bloggers have been using Pinterest for a really long time to drive traffic to their blogs. But if you are just a part-time blogger and that is in service of your coaching or consulting projects, then you should be using Pinterest to drive traffic to those blogs, or if they're vlogs, to drive traffic to those vlogs, where you are then getting some kind of, or you're giving them some kind of next step to take. So whether that is signing up for a newsletter because they're going to get some amazing thing, or whether that is signing up for a freebie, whether that is signing up for a small dollar paid something, I don't care what it is. Maybe it's just joining their Facebook group. Whatever it is, you need to be encouraging people to take the next step. But if you do have any kind of blog or vlog, send traffic using Pinterest. Now, another fantastic way to use Pinterest that nobody really talks about is filling your Facebook groups. I know so many small Facebook groups. Their owners really struggle. They tend to get stuck in hey girl marketing hell. You know, the ones, right? The first email that you send is a pitch to go join my group. There's no real reason to join the group. There's just a pitch. Like, hey, I have this amazing group over here. Come join it. And there's like 12 people in it. You're like, okay. You don't have any of my people in there, I don't think. So I'm going to say no, but thank you. And it becomes really off-putting when you are using that hey girl tactic to try and fill a Facebook group. The kind of people who say yes to that, they're the kind of people that fall for MLMs. Nothing wrong with MLMs, but they're not always everyone's cup of tea. Okay. There's a lot of scam MLMs out there. There's a lot of reasons why you should be wary of an MLM, and do a lot of research on not just the way that it's structured, but the way that they actually teach marketing. Because if they're teaching hey girl marketing, you probably don't want to be involved in it. And if they are teaching that the only way to make income is by bringing people onto your team, you're probably not going to make any money with it. I'm just saying. Just saying. You want the products to be the thing that people are in love with and that they can't live without. You want the products to be so high quality, so amazing that you don't even have to say anything more than just, hey, I sell this thing, and everybody is like giving you their money because they can't imagine not having it. Somebody's at my front door. Weird. Okay, anyways, and so I kind of got off topic there with the whole MLM thing. But anyway, so hey girl marketing, it really doesn't work. It off-puts a lot of people. Please don't do it. Use Pinterest instead. Create a pin series and just have those firing all the time if you really want to fill your group. It works. It's a unique way. It's not being used a whole lot, and it's free. or almost free. If you hire a manager like me, then it's not entirely free, but it's darn sure a lot easier to just have that be smart looping. Ooh, you don't even know about smart loops, but have that be smart looping, and you never have to think about it again, and it just keeps going, and you just keep having more and more and more people joining your group. Yay! I want more of that, please. And so should you. You should want that too. So I could keep talking, but really at the end of the day, what I'm saying is Pinterest is fantastic. Pinterest is the wave of the future when it comes to marketing. We all know Facebook and Instagram, organic reach is almost dead. Instagram's a little better than Facebook, but really honestly, the blue behemoth, it is pay to play now. It really is. Even here, I'm doing a live, which Pinterest or which Facebook used to love and promote and give you all kinds of views. I've been doing lives every day for a week, well, for like 3 days. And I have one person on live with me right now. Now, hopefully, a bunch more of you will watch later on. But that tells me that organic reach is dead. And you need something else. You need to try something else. And what that something else is probably Pinterest. Now, you could do a standalone course. They're like $200. They're a dime a dozen. You can't go on the internet without tripping over 10 of them. As I mentioned, though, an awful lot of the people who have claimed their business account have failed miserably when actually trying to create that business account and have it be successful, because it you need that personal connection, you need that feedback, you need that this isn't working for me, how do I fix this? You need that immediate result of here's how you take the next step. You need someone to walk you through it and answer your particular questions. And that's why I created a group program. No one else that I have found is offering this. It is a low dollar investment group program. We are upping the prices slowly, but it is currently fairly reasonably priced. 6 weeks, you get 6 group calls, you get 3 one-on-one calls with me, you get a ton of support, you get ongoing lifetime support. It's fantastic. It really is. And I cannot stress enough just how important it is to actually have someone to help you to create the right Pinterest strategy for your business, to create pins that are going to engage people, to create ad copy. I have an offer Bible that I'm just about finished working on, that everybody who's in the program, they're getting it just for free, just because they get my Pinterest analytics reporting framework. They get just a ton of other things, hashtag and keyword research. Both they get how to do it for themselves, plus we do it for them with them in one of the one-on-one calls, plus they also get my vault of all of my best Pinterest hashtags and keywords for a whole whack of different niches. And that gets updated and fussed with on a pretty regular basis. So it's not like something that worked 4 years ago and I created it and I'm never going to touch it again. No, 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 my dears. This is a live living document. Somebody downloads it tomorrow, if they go download it next month, they'll probably have different things. They may not need it anymore, but it'll always be there. If they change mark niches, if they change whatever, they're going to have access to it. There's a bunch of other things as well. Eyeballs on templates is so important. Eyeballs on board covers, again, super, super important. It is so critical to really dive in and absolutely play with all of these things and make them your own and stand out in the feed. And you can't do that unless you're getting direct feedback and you're getting an expert really giving you all of that information. And that is what this group program does. It's a really fun time as well. One of the biggest secrets in all of any kind of online course or program or anything is that when you're in a group setting, there is power in numbers. There is power in the networking that you're able to do. There is power in the collaborations that you're able to do. There is power in the friendships that you're able to create within these groups. And the nice thing about my particular way of creating this Pinterest group is that once you're in the grad group, market yourself away. Test your ad copy. See what works and what doesn't work. Go live. Do whatever. I don't care. It's a free for all. Have fun. Now, it's not going to be a pitch fest because we're all testing. Okay. If someone thinks that that's fantastic and that's exactly what they need, then they might reach out to you. But you're going to get feedback on your pitches as well. And that is so important and so critical. If you can't get feedback and you can't get, do you think this would work if I posted it in a couple of groups? Is it too pitchy? Is it not pitchy enough? All of those things. That is so important to get that kind of feedback. And almost no Facebook groups allow you to do that kind of market research inside of them. They get really uncomfortable if you start trying to ask those kinds of questions. I mean, unless you're in like a challenge group and you're trying to set up your business or you're pretending you're trying to set up your business. But otherwise, it just can be really uncomfortable to really delve into it and to create exactly what you want. It can be really hard and difficult. And so that's another reason why I really love, number one, the group program format, and number two, the idea that we're all in this together. We're all grown-ups. As long as you're respectful and you're not, bitching something that's exactly what I'm doing, I don't care. Now, who is this good for? Who is Pinterest? Who's this Pinterest program great for? It is good. Okay, there are so many people, but if you are a VA and you are thinking about using Pinterest, or you're thinking about becoming a Pinterest VA or a Pinterest manager, this course is going to get you on the road to that a lot faster than really any other course. If you are a life coach of some kind, preferably a spiritually life-based coach, your woo, your intuitive, your whatever, you're my people, you're my soul mates, and I want you all to take this because that's fantastic. I have a lot of success in the nutrition coaching space. Nutrition coaching space. I have quite a few clients who are nutrition coaches. They do fantastic. If you are a health and wellness guru of any kind, Pinterest should be where you are at. If you are if you're a consultant of some kind, Pinterest is probably where you should be at. If you have a product of any kind or a service of any kind that women between the ages of 24 and 60 would want, you should be on Pinterest. You should. Now, here's my caveat. Okay, you should only be thinking about Pinterest if your offers already convert. So if you are already sending a little bit of traffic over to those blog posts or those vlog posts, and they convert, like you get signups from them, and then people follow the funnel and they go up your value ladder and they buy your things, then you are a fantastic person or a fantastic business model for Pinterest. I'm not saying you're not a fantastic person if your business is not doing well. I'm just saying if your business is doing well and you just need more eyeballs and you're frustrated with that because the social media thing takes so long to get to know someone in order to invite them to go do your thing, Pinterest might be the thing that's going to free up hours of your time every day, every week, every month, and save you so much time that you can then spend on more clients or spend on more marketing activities like writing new content or spend on spending time with your family. If you're an entrepreneur, anything like me, you're probably working 50, 60-hour weeks because you love it. But you're really thinking, in the back of your head, you're thinking, I should work less. I really should work less. So go spend time with your family if you don't have to do all the Facebooky stuff. Okay. Um, and if you're selling any kind of products, even if it's a high dollar product, products sell on Pinterest. Anything up to about $4,000 or $5,000, it sells on Pinterest. Pinterest is aspirational. Pinterest is a market where, what is it? I'm going to get it wrong, but 40% have a household income over $100,000 a year, US. And I think it's like 70% have a household income over $50,000 a year. They have money. They have money. This is an audience that is well to do, well educated, mostly women, and women who are well educated and well to do and have money. They are, generally speaking, the people who make financial decisions in households. They are your ideal audience. Now, maybe you want to do a little more targeting with your keywords to be more specifically narrowed in. But generally speaking, don't we all want, most of us want women between the ages of 30 and 60 who are making money, living in a decent neighborhood, and they have some college, and they are living the life. They're capable of buying our things. So don't assume. Now, I will say products, it's easier to sell a product that's a couple $1,000s because you can get your money back. Services, it can be really tough to get your money back. And it requires a little more warming up. Okay. If somebody falls in love with a 17th century repainted, milk done, barn door made hamster wheel, they're going to spend $3,000 on it. Okay. They just are. And then they're going to get it shipped, and then they're going to fall in love with it, and they're going to show it off to all their friends. And then it was in a barn, and then it was this, and then it was that. And they're going to give you like the whole pedigree every time you come to their house. You know those people. And those are the people you want to sell your stuff to. Obviously, services is a little different. You have to warm them up differently. There is a little bit more of an objection handling that has to happen than just them falling in love with the product. But it can be done. Okay. And you all know that. You know that. So if you're there and you have a product or you have a service that you just need more eyeballs on it and you're exhausted, you're my ideal client and we should work together. So I will drop the link for the landing page for the program down below. Go have a look at it. Message me personally, Cherise Marie, and let me know what you think. I would be very, very curious to hear some feedback on the landing page. So do me that favor. And otherwise, I'm going to skedaddle. So thank you so much for being here. Thank you for listening to me ramble on about how fantastic Pinterest is. I hope I gave you a few really important pieces of information about how to use Pinterest to create the life that you want, because that is ultimately exactly what I provide, is the ability to use Pinterest as one of the tools in your arsenal to absolutely give you the freedom, the income, the confidence, the security that you deserve. Okay? On that note, have a fantastic day wherever you are on this big, beautiful planet. It is like fall. It's crazy. How did that happen? We're so close to Christmas now. It's crazy. Oh my God. Anyways, we'll talk to you later. Bye.